Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kristen. Today is that time again. It's my bi-weekly makeup basket day and I have gone a little bit cray for this next basket. I have definitely been bit by the want to declutter. I've watched a lot of declutter videos. I've still been watching declutter videos and I managed to decide to declutter a few things from the products that I picked in the last basket. So I picked myself a huge variety of things. One, to get some use out of products that I haven't used, and two, to really force myself to declutter some stuff from my collection. So I had to take a long, hard look at a few things at the end of the 2 weeks of my last basket that I just completed and really force myself to give up a few things because I have that tendency to want to declutter, but yet I find reasons to want to keep things. So I had to really be harsh on myself, and I'm going to show you a couple things real quick before we get into this week's basket. I don't want it to be too long. I have a lot of products, so I'm going to go ahead and get started really quickly. So I'll just go ahead and show you because it's right on top. This e.l.f. blush right here in Candid Coral. I was going to get rid of this blush, but I realized how much dimension this blush really has. I don't even know if you can really see it, but I did go ahead and swatch it right here. And I don't know if this lighting is really going to give it any kind of justice, but it's got a really nice like gold pink coral kind of shift to it, and it's just beautiful to me. So I decided to go ahead and keep that one. I did declutter a couple of other e.l.f. blushes without even putting them in a basket, so I'm okay with that decision. The next thing was my Master Glaze and my Mega Glow Multi-Stick, and when I used this on my face, I thought immediately I'm going to get rid of this. I didn't like it as a highlight color. It's way too pink. It would qualify as a cream blush to me. It is swatched right here, but as I was looking at it swatched on my hand, it's just got that really cool gold underglow to it as well for me. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this. It was limited edition. I will find a way to use this somehow, but at least for now I'm going to go ahead and hang on to this in my collection. When it came to this Master Glaze by Face Studio blush stick, this was in the shade Nude Rebellion, and I was going to use this like a cream highlighting stick, and I did use it and I really enjoyed it, but then I thought between the two I want to get rid of one of them, so I decided initially that I was going to go ahead and get rid of this stick. And then I realized that there's not a lot of product, like I think I mentioned when I first picked this out, and I really like this application method, so I was like, I want to keep this. But then I realized that I'm using a product that I felt was very similar, and that is this product right here, MAC, in the color Seaside. And I'm really trying to go through my cream products and evaluate what I want to keep and try and get through and get to working through those products, because cream products don't stay around very long, at least stay good very long. So this is what this looks like right here, and I started getting a little bit of a dip here when I was using it in my inner corner, and now I feel like it does have a dip just from using it in place of my Benefit What's Up highlighter. It is a little bit deeper, but I can blend it in really nice, put a powder over top of it, and it looks really good. So if you look at this, this is the nude stick, or the Face Studio stick, and this is the color in Seaside. This one does look a little bit deeper on camera, and if you really look at it, it does look a little bit deeper in the swatch on my hand, but I feel like they're so super similar that I could probably get rid of the nude stick. But this is my preferred method of application. So then I was like, well, maybe I'll get rid of the MAC. This is getting to be a really, really long explanation, but what I've decided was that I'm going to go ahead and keep this for now. If you'll see in my next, or you will see in my next basket, that I do have another couple of nude sticks like this by Face Studio, different shades, so I might try to declutter one of those, because what I think can possibly happen is once this goes bad or I use it up, this can be a backup. I know they're both cream products, they're going to take forever to go through. This will probably go bad before this is finished. Just bear with me here, guys. This is kind of my rationale, but I did get rid of a few products, so we'll go ahead and get into that. First, I'm going to clean off my hand. Okay, so it was really, really difficult for me to decide whether I was going to get rid of this or whether I was going to get rid of the NYC. This is a matte powder, and the NYC has a little bit of a gold shimmer that I really enjoy on my cheeks. This product was limited edition. I believe you can still get that NYC. I think it's the Hamptons Bronze. I can't remember. Fire Island Tan, maybe that was. You can still get that one, I believe. This is limited edition. You can no longer get it. So I was going to keep both. And then I swatched this. And it looks like this. I'll go ahead and swatch that on my hands. And I swatched my Smashbox Suntan Matte that I've been using occasionally right next to it. And they are different, but this is very, very smooth. I love this powder very much. And I decided that I enjoy this shade a little bit more, even though this doesn't pull too orange on my cheeks. The swatch shows it quite orange, but I think on the cheeks they are fairly similar. So I'm going to go ahead and keep my Suntan Matte by Smashbox, and I am going to go ahead and get rid of the Dream Sun Bronzer by Maybelline. So yay for me, I got rid of one. The next thing I'm definitely going to get rid of is this A Dream Come True. Some days I can justify it being a subtle highlight. I like it. It's pretty, but to keep the packaging, I have so many highlighters and so many highlighters that are still very subtle that I enjoy, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this product right here. I decided to keep all of the blushes that I pulled, like I said, including that e.l.f. blush. So the next couple of things I am going to declutter is this Pop Beauty Peony Petal. I don't like the way this really slides around on my lips. I feel like it's a little bit high maintenance to get it to sit the way I want it to on my lips. And the smell, which somebody else mentioned in one of their declutter videos, really made me notice the smell. So I feel like I can't get past that, plus the fact that it's a little bit hard to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And I wore this a couple times, this Total Intensity Total Wear Lip Crayon in the color Wine Not. Really, really gorgeous color. I enjoy the shimmer on my lips, but what I don't enjoy is that there's shimmer all around this region of my face for no reason. I don't wipe this off. I don't swipe my hand across my face. Nothing. And I just have this glitter that just somehow migrates. The color doesn't migrate, but the glitter does, and it drives me absolutely nuts. So I, with great regret, am going to declutter this lipstick. So that is it for my last basket. I'm going to go ahead and get into the massive amount of things that I have pulled for this next basket. So please bear with me. I'm going to go as quick as I can. Let's get into it. So it took me a little bit of time to think about doing this, but I have a lot of foundations, and I've been sticking to a couple of foundations, one that I'm working on for a project and one that I just really enjoy using and I know really works for me. But I have a lot of foundations that are going to continue to go bad if I don't at least start to see what I like and what I don't like and declutter some of them and get down to the nitty-gritty, and then I know what I really have to use up or try to use up before they go bad. So a couple of products that I don't really use very often are stick type foundations, and I know there's a lot out there right now that are really hot in the high-end formula. Hourglass, I think Anastasia Beverly Hills has one. Makeup Forever has one. But I have a couple of drugstore stick foundations. And the first one that I have is Maybelline Fit Me Shine Free. And this is in the shade 110 Porcelain, which is the shade that I used to have this powder in. And I think like on the back of my hand it really works for me. It looks like it might be a little bit light for my skin, but we will go ahead and see how I feel about this stick foundation. I did use this a couple times in the past. It's probably going to take a little bit of time for me to figure out how to work with that, but we will see. This is the Flower Beauty stick foundation Skin Cognito in the shade SF3, and this is a little more on the yellow toned side. You can see that, but I was also able to blend this in really nicely to my hand, so I wanted to see if I was going to be able to work with this. So those are a couple of stick foundations that I want to try and use in the next 2 weeks and see how I like them. The next couple are higher end foundations. This is my MAC Mineralized Moisture SPF foundation in the shade NC20. So you can see I am down to here. It's separated a little bit. So I wanted to just see if maybe this was one that I could continue to work with, since I do already have some progress on this one. And the next one is another one I haven't used in a long time, and I don't know if this is my shade, but this is the Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Foundation in the shade, I'm not quite sure, L48. So light 48. But I think when I was matched for this, I was matched when I was tanning. So I'll have to see how I feel about this. I know this is a really full coverage thick foundation, so hopefully this isn't too cakey for me, but I will see how I can make it work. So like I said, focusing on cream products. I do have several cream products in my 2016 makeup use up that I know are not going to be finished this year, but I wanted to see what I could eliminate out of my collection as far as cream products. So like I said, I don't have too many cream products to work on left. So the first thing that I pulled as far as blush goes for cream products is this L'Oreal Magic Smooth Souffle. I don't even know if they make these anymore. This is in the shade Celestial, and so this looks like this, and it's a very moussey type texture. It's still very moussey. It still smells just fine, so I am going to try and use this shade. This is like a peachy kind of shade. I can go ahead and give you a swatch. It seems a little hard to blend out and a little chunky almost, you can see, so maybe the formula of this is not too good, so that may be like right off the bat something that I go ahead and get rid of. So there's that. And the next shade is a little bit on the brighter side. I do like a little bit of color in the fall time still. So this is my Master Glaze by Face Studio blush stick in the shade Pink Fever. And I believe I got this from Candy Powder and Blush as well. And so this is what this looks like. And I'll give you a little swatch of this. Definitely going to need to be blended out because that is quite a loud shade right there. So we'll see if I enjoy that at all. The next product is this L'Oreal Visible Lift Blur Blush in the shade Soft Peach. And I used this a couple times and I thought that I liked it, so we'll see how I like that. But this is definitely one that will take forever to go through if I were to try and pan this. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this. And that definitely blends out to a very light shade. So if that gets lost on my cheeks at all, I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of that because there's no point in trying to work with something that's going to give me absolutely no pigmentation. But in this kind of product, it is good to have a little bit of a sheer formula. So we'll see how it works out on the cheeks. This is the Maybelline Dream Bouncy Blush in the shade Peach Satin. And that's what that looks like. I do have the shade Hot Tamale in my 2016 makeup use up, but this is a really pretty color. So that is what that looks like right there. So we'll see how these work out for me in the next 2 weeks. I did pick out some powder blushes as well, quite a number of them actually, but my goal is to try and eliminate some from my collection with this basket. So the first three I have right here are Wet n Wild, and this is the shade in 813 Pearlescent Pink. This is like one of those classic shades from Wet n Wild, but up until recently I hadn't even used this shade, so I'm going to try that one out. This next shade right here I haven't even opened at all, and this is in the shade Mellow Wine. I just figured a darker shade for the fall time would be really nice, and I want to see if this is too pigmented for me or if I can get this to work. And this next shade I also have not used. This is one of their newer shades, and this is in the color Rose Champagne. Everybody says that this is a beautiful shade, so I wanted to go ahead and give this a try for a little bit of a nude cheek option. A blush that I was considering actually getting rid of is this MUA blusher in the shade Bubblegum. This again I got from Candy Powder and Blush, but it is a really soft formula, and I actually really enjoy the color. So I wanted to go ahead and give this a shot since I had chosen a brighter pink in the cream formula. I felt like this is not as blue toned. I felt like this had some deeper tone to it. So even though it's bright, I felt like it was a little bit darker and it would be nice for the fall time. So I wanted to go ahead and give that a try. And then two last minute choices that I made because I had seen somebody mention this blush and I knew I had it and I knew I just had to have it, and haven't used it since I purchased it like back in the beginning of my makeup obsession. And this is the MAC Mineralized Blush in the color Gentle. And so this is what this completely untouched shade looks like. It looks a little bit purple in this viewfinder to me, and it does have some of that mauve tone to it, which I believe would be really pretty for the fall time, which is what the person who I saw pull it was saying. So I really wanted to, this is just simply for fun for me. I am not considering decluttering this blush at all, nor am I considering decluttering the next blush. This is also MAC Mineralized Blush in the color Lavish Living. This is what this looks like right here. And that is what that looks like. It's a very deep purple shade, and I think it looks beautiful on the cheeks for the fall time. So that is that shade right there. So on to my bronzer choices for the next couple weeks. I wanted to try and start working through some of the same brand of products and kind of really compare them against each other. And I think even when I decide to keep a product, if I have a similar product to that or a product in the same brand, I'm going to put those head to head at some point and try to maybe dwindle down even more based on those comparisons. So I went ahead and pulled this NYC Sun and Bronze bronzing powder. As you can see, that's got a little bit of a lighter or cream shade here, and this is in the color Coney Island Glow. And so this one hasn't been used at all, but it does have a deeper strip here. This one's just a little bit deeper, this one's a little bit lighter, and then these two in the center are more like cream shades. So I want to see how I like this product right here. And again, I will compare that against the one that I chose to keep from the last basket sometime in the future. And I haven't used this in a really long time, so I want to go ahead and pull it. This is the Victoria's Secret bronzer in the color Glitterati. I have like 4 backups of this. As you can see, I've used that quite a bit there. It's supposed to be split down the center, and one side is very shimmery and one side is a little bit more on the cool tone of a bronzer. So I wanted to use that one. But also they had another shade called Glowing, and I bought this when they were getting rid of their line and everything was on sale. So this has the same format, a little bit more shimmery. This is still a little bit of a sheen kind of bronzer, but it's still a little bit more cool toned over there. This one overall is a lighter tone than Glitterati, so I wanted to go ahead and give this a try and see if I like it as much as Glitterati. If not, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this since I have so many backups of Glitterati hanging around. So there's that. And it looks like we're on to highlighters for this basket. And the first one I want to go ahead and pull because I decided to go ahead and keep the rose version from this brand. This is the L'Oreal Paris True Match Lumi in the color Ice, just Ice C302. These didn't get very good reviews from most people. I think this one in particular was a little more on the chunky side, so I wanted to give it a shot myself and see how I really felt about it. I do have MAC's Lightscapade, which is a very icy kind of blue toned highlighter, which I really like. So eventually, even if I decide to keep this one, I may ultimately put it head to head with Lightscapade and maybe only keep one, probably the Lightscapade. But I wanted to go ahead and give this a shot. But also very similar to that is this Wet n Wild Geometric Highlighting Powder in the color Where the Dreamers Go. This was the only one that I liked out of the three of them, so I went ahead and decluttered the other two, and I still have this one. So I wanted to go ahead and put these two head to head and see which one I could declutter at the end of this 2 weeks. The two stick highlighters that I talked about earlier are the Master Glaze by Face Studios. This is in Bronze Blonde, and this is in Subtle Bronze. And to be completely honest with you, these look extremely similar. They came out in the same collection. Both of them are totally unused, and they do seem a little bit lighter than that other stick, but I still want to see which ones I might like better, especially out of these two, because they are very, very similar. So wanted to try that out. And then one more regular powder highlighter that I have is also from Candy Powder and Blush, and this is in the color, this is Catrice Pure Shimmer Highlighter in the color Nude Prism, and it says it's a limited edition shade. So when I swatch this, I really do like the glow that it gives, but it is one of those very subtle highlighters. So I want to see how I feel about this. So that is it for highlighters. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the eye palettes that I've chosen for this basket. Now, I talked the last time about how I wanted to stay within the same brand, and I also chose two Lorac palettes in the last basket. I forgot to show these earlier, but I did just want to show you really quickly that I was able to hit pan on 4 shades in this palette. I did not have pan on any shades when I started this 2 weeks ago. So I hit pans on Nude, Cream, Mauve, and a light bronze right there. So I'm really proud of myself for that. And I did not get to use all of the shades out of that palette, nor did I use all the shades out of this Lorac Unzipped palette, but I did get some good use out of it. Did I hit pan on any of them? No. Did I think I was going to? Absolutely not. But I did finish a cream shade in one of my project palettes, so I did want to start working on this one. But I don't know if I'm going to keep this in my basket just to keep working on this. But what I do want to try and do is continue to hit pan on shadows. So I thought it was pretty neat that I was hitting pan on a lot of shadows in palettes. So I thought maybe it'd be cool if I had pan on as many palettes as I can. So I might still keep this in just for this shade and trying to work on this one. So we'll see. Let's see if I can find anything that I'm interested in hitting pan on in any other palettes. So the Lorac palette I decided to choose for this basket is the Lorac Pro 2 palette, and when I was looking around for tutorials for my Lorac Pro palette. I came across several Lorac Pro 2 palette tutorials that I was really interested in doing, and I wanted to play around with some of these colors. So this is what the Lorac Pro palette 2 looks like, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hit pan on any of these shadows, but as I've said before, Lorac Pro pan or Pro palette shadows are very soft and easy to work with, so I might be able to hit pan on one or two of these shadows in the next 2 weeks. I'm definitely going to try to, so I'm really excited to go ahead and use this palette. And the palette that I chose to go with it is my little Lorac palette that I got from Kohl's. This is the $4.99 Summer Glow palette, or $40.99 should I say, but I think it's just called the Summer Glow palette. It's that top thing right there, and I will go ahead and show you what this palette looks like. This is a very summery, beachy kind of palette, and it's got this nice cream shade here, this nice white satin shade here. This shade looks absolutely beautiful for the crease, and then you have some other colorful shadows here. There are some colorful shadows in this Lorac Pro, but it's very cool toned, and I think that the bright shadows would be considered like this navy, but it's still like a very dark shade. So I wanted to bring some life and color to this palette, but I know that I have my Lorac Pro 3 and my Lorac Mega Pro 3 that are really going to need some livening up as well. So I do have this other palette that I was going to actually use with this palette as well. I was going to pull two of these small Lorac palettes. This, my friend Abby from Make Life Your Runway has. This is the Afterglow palette by Lorac, and it's a really super pretty palette as well. I am going to go ahead and show this now, but I will be pulling this at a later time with probably one of those palettes or with my Mega Pro 2 palette. So I'm not going to go ahead and pull that this basket, but that is what I'm going to be doing for my eyes, as well as continuing to work on some of my Project Pan shadows that I have. And I do also have some lip products that I'm going to go ahead and show you as well. Since I've pretty much concluded that I am not going to finish any more of my 2016 or 16 and 2016 lip products, I can never say that right, I went crazy on these lip products as well, just so I have some variety, some options that I know I can wear every day. And if those products aren't ones that I want to wear, then I will work on some of my project lipsticks. But I wanted to get into the fall spirit of lipstick, and the very first lipstick that comes to mind when I think of the fall and what I've been dying to pull out is MAC's Rebel lipstick. And this is what this shade looks like. It is gorgeous. It used to be super intimidating to me, but it is so pretty on the lips. It comes out like a very berry shade. It's super, super pretty. Gorgeous on the lips, and I can't wait to wear this shade. And I also really like this kind of taupey brown color in the color Styled in Sepia. And so that's what that looks like, and I will go ahead and give you a swatch of that. I think this looks really nice on my lips as well, so I am excited to use this. And then I pulled some drugstore options that I might want to declutter from my collection, and this first one is this Total Intensity Total Wear Lip Crayon in the color Berry with Me. Now, I showed you that I was going to declutter the Wine Knot. This does not have any glitter in it, but it is a very bright kind of fuchsia shade. So that's what that looks like right there. So I'm not sure how this one will work out for me, but it might be a little bit better because I only disliked the glitter in the last one. This is the Collection Privé by Frida, and this is in the shade Frida's Nude. This is L'Oreal, so it's not by Frida, but this is a brown kind of taupey shade, so I wanted to, this seems like a very wearable daily kind of shade for me, so there's that right there. And this one I overlooked. This is actually a Lancome product, I believe. This is in the color All Done Up, and this is like a purple mauve kind of color as well. So I figured it would be a good color for the fall season. There's that right there. This is one of my kind of fallback colors if I don't like those or I don't want to wear them every day. This is the CoverGirl lipstick in the color 256 Cream, and this is what this looks like. I feel like this might be one I will declutter, while this might be a little bit more of a wearable shade and one that I fall back on. I don't think I like the way that it looks on my lips, so I may be going ahead and decluttering that one. I think it really settles into my lines, so I think that's the problem I have with it. And this last one is this Kardashian Beauty Chroma Beauty Joystick Lip Lacquer in the color Baby Doll, and you can see the color down here. And I have used quite a bit of this, and yeah, I guess this is another one of those just shades that I can just fall back on wearing and will look good. That's the other thing, will look good with most eye colors, most eye looks that I do. So that is the idea behind choosing those two, and hopefully I can pick something to declutter out of this basket at the end, because I really do want to go and really, you know, declutter my lipstick and lip gloss collection. So that is it for this basket. Thanks for hanging around. I know this is a really long one. I think it's even longer than the last one. I definitely went crazy with the products this time, but hopefully I will get to use and test everything in this basket. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being a part of my channel, for being here and sticking around. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so very much.